This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Grant Hall is with us here on Halftime today. Grant, we're hoping Fayetteville is Funky Town and the Hogs can get dancing tonight against Alabama. Though I didn't realize, though, until I looked at the Bet Saracen app, that maybe at least the majority of the betting public inside the state of Arkansas, they're putting their money on Alabama, man. And it's a little different than potentially what we're seeing across the country. Hogs have to defend the home court. They've done that under Eric Musselman against some really good teams the last 2 years. What do you make of this game tonight?
Well, if they're looking for motivation, I heard who was it? Patrick Young say the other night that he thought that Alabama would score 80 or 90 pretty easily against Arkansas.
Oh my goodness!
In this game. So there's some, but it's a different vibe. I mean, it's a 6:00 game. So do you go to Herman's at 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon? And like you were talking about, Phil, it'd be nice if it were a weekend game, but it is what it is, and it's going to be fun. I give Arkansas's spirit groups and the guy that I call the new Jim Robkin, who basically doesn't let there be any fall off in the first 2, 3, 4 minutes of the second half. That was always kind of the time when maybe fans went to concession stands, and sometimes the opposing team could come out and sneak a few points. But it was constant noise the other night, and these two coaches, when you think about it, and I think they're both in their 8th year of college coaching, might be two of the best. I was going to say 5, maybe even 3 in the country right now. Roy Williams is gone, Krzyzewski's gone, Chris Beard's out now, and except for Bill Self, maybe you guys can think of us.
Izzo.
Izzo, yeah. Right? Absolutely. But Boeheim and
is Sampson the Houston coach?
Yes.
I like him too. Yeah,
he's outstanding.
Yeah.
But Calipari, and Boeheim seem to be going the wrong way, and this team beat Houston at Houston, so that'll give you an idea. And the guy that I think is sort of must watch right now is Brandon Miller, who is a 6'9" small forward, and he would be worth the price of admission just to kind of watch him operate. Matt, who do you think? Will Arkansas try to put Devo in him and give up 5 inches because he's their best on-ball defender?
I think you got to put Walsh on him, and you kind of got to do it by committee. And I was going to ask you, what does it feel like this is two teams going in opposite directions right now? Like this might be kind of a make-or-break game for the Hogs?
Yeah, it was all they could do to come back from that big 17-point deficit and beat Missouri last week. The LSU game now looks a little different. They've lost 3 times. So I know Arkansas started this way under Musselman, but you say, well, they'd be 1-3 again. They've done it before, but because of the 2 big players missing right now, this feels like, in fact, Eric told us last week, he said he told the team before the Missouri game, this is a must win. And he doesn't usually do that, and maybe that put too much pressure on him, explaining some of the bad start. But tonight, I think it would qualify that way if you have designs on trying to be a contender in the SEC. And right now, I would say Tennessee and Alabama look like the 2 that most observers around the country would think would fight it out for the championship. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I feel like it is teams going in opposite directions. That this is a big game for Arkansas. I don't think it's the end all be all, but this is a defining moment where this could catapult us to a 5-6 game win streak. It starts with 1. It'd be a shame to fall to 1-4. Would be 1-3 in the SEC?
Yeah, 1-3, and Eric said Monday night on his radio show that they spent 90 minutes as a staff talking about the lineup for this game. And he talked about how, remember, Trey Wade came in and was a really good, it was a selfless guy in the, playing more significant minutes that helped them rally last year. So you kind of wonder who that might be in this game, what kind of impact. I think Pinion still could be huge. One thing about games like this, Matt, and we've seen it with the home crowd, if you make 3 or 4 3-point shots early in the game, that seems to really set the tone.
Absolutely.
And Penning is a guy who could do that, and he sits there in the deep corner. I thought the other day in the 12 minutes he played, it's almost like his teammates were playing keep away from him.
He's got to move a little bit more. Like, I know what you're saying. He's just over there sitting, and you watch J.J. Redick, you watch Kyle Court, you watch the guys that he's trying to be, man. Those dudes don't stop moving. When they just basically, you got to keep, we passed the ball good against the zone. We just didn't move against the zone that well.
Well, and the other thing, too, Grant, I mean, so the three-point shooting, and Pinion might be the only guy who can consistently knock it down if he starts getting his confidence going. You got to find a way to get to the foul line here against Alabama. They did that against Auburn, and nobody makes 100% of their free throws unless they're the Miami Heat last night, which was nuts. That's a different story, something to get into later. But you got to find a way to get to the foul line, and it's got to be more than just Anthony Black.
Eric had this factoid the other night. He said that on the national shot chart, analytically, Arkansas should have beaten Auburn by 8 points. And you look at the massive rebounding advantage, and they just missed a ton. What was it, 15 shots inside? Now, part of that was a guy blocking 6 shots, and those. And
Alabama's
harder.
Got the same thing. I mean, they don't block they don't have the total necessarily season total that Alabama has, but they got 7-footer. They got 6'10". They got 6'9". They've got shot blockers too. I mean, that shot blockers, this, they don't just block shots. They're in the back of everybody's mind when they're in the lane. I mean, that's one of the reasons that they might have had troubles against Auburn. And man, you got to be. That was one thing they were really good at before getting into SEC was finishing around the rim. Well, you weren't facing teams that were really littered with a ton of shot blockers.
Well, Eric said we have too many guys perimeter-oriented or standing, and so he said maybe we just need to set better screens. Mm-hmm. And as fundamental and sort of wonky as that sounds, it's not the glamour thing, but that something like that could be the difference in this game. And but it's just I don't know. I mean, I thought the Miss Nola's free throws really did affect things at Auburn.
I don't want to put too much on this game. Look, I mean, this is the game that's right in front of us. You want to go out and win this. Maybe Alabama's the best team in the country right now. So you want to go out and do your absolute best. You want to win this game. I don't think the season rests on this. Look, Musk can say one thing to the team and they want to win this game badly. Well, what they need is just something to get the confidence going offensively. And something happening at Bud Walton, yeah, that'd be great. The next 2 games are on the road. You get Vanderbilt, that's not playing very well on the road. It's just, just to get something going. Maybe if it's today, but I mean, if you lose and you're 1-3, we've seen them come back from being 1-3 the last couple of years. Or am I putting a little bit too much, Grant, on the last 2 years? Because every team is different.
Well, yeah, I think you're right in a way, but I also think that we live in an age everything is about the now, and so tonight is going to be a lot of fun. And I just think about things like Eric said, he was really disappointed that Arkansas had just 4 steals against Auburn, and 2 of those were by Kamani Johnson. And, not necessarily where you expect the steals to come from. So that has to be better tonight. That in a game and the other thing to remember, I think the stat is that Alabama shoots 40% of its shots as 3-pointers. I go all the way back to when the 3-point shot came in. Matt, Frank Broyle said to me, well, I'll never forget, I was driving him back for a golf outing, and he said, I don't know why every team doesn't have about 4 3-point shooters.
That's right. Yeah.
And he was right. I mean, it took a while for that to happen, but the teams like Alabama that do that, so you have to play great defense against it and be disciplined and hope your guys make a few of those things.
Yeah, I think Kamani Johnson needs to play big, and I forget which Mitchell twin it is, but the one that plays the most. If they can play big, physical, and strong, and be able to let Ricky Council, and the thing I love Ricky Council's game. I really do. I like everything about the kid. But the reason they're giving you this, you're 2 feet behind the 3-point line, is because you're not shooting that at a high clip. He needs to be able to still shoot that mid range better. I know this analytics says 3.3, but we don't shoot it well. So why do we keep shooting it? We just got to be competent. If there's 5 seconds left in the shot clock and you're wide open, or if you're wide open right on the 3-point line, I get it, but 2 feet back from the 3-point line, they're just not working. That's why they're leaving you open.
I tell you what it looks like. I mean, it looks like desperation. If they were,
we start pressing a little bit. Yeah, when we get down
scoring,
8. Yeah,
Ricky's not trying that 3-pointer.
You're right.
From 3 feet behind the line. I think the scorers that sometimes just feel pressure. All right, we're not really getting going. I gotta chuck one up because we've been standing around.
In the first half, Phil, I take it like football. To take your points, man. Let's be aggressive. Try to get them in foul trouble instead of. How many times have we made it where Jordan Walsh hasn't had 2 fouls in the first half? We got to stay. Yeah. We got to keep our bigs a little bit out of foul trouble because Walsh is just as athletic as anybody out there, and then so he's only playing 7 minutes in the first. We need him out there a little more on that defensive, and he can get offensive boards. He can. If he's not out there, it's going to be tough. We got to rebound with this Alabama team.
Yeah, it was an interesting dynamic in post game after the Missouri game because Pinion and Council were the 2 guys that Arkansas brought in, and Pinion was the reason that Council started the second half on the bench. Mm-hmm. And as Eric explained it, he's looking for a word. He said, the only word I can think of is he was a threat to take his minutes away. In other words, that got Council's attention, and that both of them were there as the stars of the game afterwards. So they need maybe that kind of infusion again. Who knows? We may see somebody we're not even talking about. He actually mentioned that the couple of the younger point guards haven't played as much. Ford and Dunning aren't quite there, but it'll be interesting to see how Eric cobbles it together this time without these 2 really good players.
Grant, what's the biggest thing going on in golf these days? Sometimes I would research something to ask you a question about it, but then I realized, you know what? Why am I even trying? Let's just throw something general out there for you because you are the go-to guy across the state with this topic. What is big going on in golf right now?
Oh, I think I would probably say just the fact that since the Masters sent out credential requests this week, I'm thinking about April already and how, as we expected, Augusta National went ahead and let the LIV guys play, and I think the other majors will do that. And so that 1 week, they'll all be together, and there'll be all kinds of stories about that. Of course, over the weekend, Morikawa,
yes,
7-shot lead.
What was that?
That's the second time he's had this happen to him. So you hope the scars don't. He looked like a guy who, now that he's was putting better, might win 5 or 6 times this year. And he made 3 bogeys in a row, and that was it. He lost to John Rahm.
Which John Rahm's a stud, yeah.
Yes, he is. But a couple of things to mention quickly, guys. This weekend, I saw the gymnastics team practice yesterday. They had a little thing for the media, and it's interesting to watch them. They've got 17 athletes, and when they first started, they had about 7 or 8, I think. So they got Alabama coming in Friday night, and they're always great. I think Arkansas is ranked 15th, and also the indoor track season starts on Friday, so you can take your pick there of a couple of good events.
Well, it is a ton of fun to be over at Barnhill for those gymnastics events. I know they're doing 2 of them at Bud Walton Arena this year. I don't remember the ones out on the schedule, but man, you can get over $10,000 in there for gymnastics. You might as well give it a shot. It is fun. Grant, appreciate you, man. We'll visit with you the next Wednesday.
All right, see you.
Thanks, Grant.
Grant Hall. We always appreciate his time on Halftime. 877-377-6963 to get with us on Halftime. Well, yesterday you already had some interesting outcomes in SEC men's basketball. Oh, boy. They are ready with the pitchforks in Lexington. We'll get into that next on Halftime. You can call us at 877-377-6963 or send us a text as well. Be right back.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.